This might be the clearest I can say this, if I can say it, if I can say it the way they showed it. I do believe in God because to my definition of God is unconditional love, the highest vibration. It's just the outermost reach. And it's a mirror, it's giving us what we're asking for. It loves us so much, so much. It is beyond what we can fathom. And so if you understand it that way, that it is pure love, and it is kind of like a genie, right? It's what you're focusing on. Your intention is what you're calling in. You're that powerful. And so, there's a lot of hard things to swallow along the way, and there's a lot of accountability and truths one must face within oneself until they fully comprehend all of that. And so they were showing it like there's a lot of good people who, and I've gone through this phase, and I'm sure I will again too. It's always circles around, just, usually a deeper layer or a redo, right? Let's try it again. But there's people, let's just a simple example so you can visualize, a good person always doing the right thing and focusing the right way, things are going well, and they get bumped off path, right? And they don't see how or why or where they got bumped off path. And so they're going to have to learn that and take that accountability so they don't keep getting bumped off path where they were being, quote, too nice, or they were people pleasing, or they were, saying the wrong thing, right? I used to do that too. It's like I would let people hear what they wanted to hear, but then it was almost like I was making contracts with my words, right? Like when it's like, well, that's not truly what you want. Well, now you're fucked, right? Like you have to be careful with all this stuff. And it's like, it's the simplest way to say it is you have to love and honor yourself. Stay in your own alignment. Stand in your own truth. You don't like it, say you don't like it. You're not interested, say you're not interested. Move along. And it is like, I do want you to choose wisely, but I also don't want you to second guess yourself all over the place. So it's that fine line of that dance. Anyway, okay, can we just get back to, so they were showing it was like, you got to trust the universe and understand that the universe is an abundant place and a balanced place and takes care of justice. We don't have to worry about that, right? And so, again, it was showing, somebody who was, looking to seek out justice. So then they're living in revenge and lack, and that's what they're then choosing, but they don't realize it. And it's like, no, the universe is fair and just. You just don't see it in the way that you believe it should be fair and just. You don't believe it in the way that you believe it should be balanced. Well, you are not the universe, so you don't get to choose, right? It's like we are just a piece of. We are part of. We are not the entirety. And so I knew I really thought I could get it out clearly. And so it's like, it's so fair and just, you're getting exactly what you're focusing on. And so if you are looking and waiting for somebody else's downfall or wishing upon their downfall or focusing on their downfall, that's the energy you're putting out. So then you're going to have a downfall. You're going to have whatever, right? And so it's very fair and just. So when you scream and holler, it's not fair and just, the universe is like, what are you talking about? I'm giving you exactly what you're focused on. I'm literally giving you exactly what you're focused on. It's so fair and just. It is so equal. It is so balanced. So the more you can understand that, the more you can master yourself, the more you can truly choose, but you do have to clean up your vibration. So you can't harbor resentment and try to stuff it down and stare at the rainbow. It doesn't work that way. This is why it's like there's a lot of tips and tools out there that work depending on where you are in your journey. If for so long you were harboring anger or resentment or hurt or pain or any of these lower energies, you have to find a way to fucking express them, to release them, turn it into art, turn it into what. And when I say art, as you know, it's like, I mean anything and everything. Some people sing, some people dance, some people draw, some people make movies, some people become teachers, some people, like there's so many ways that you can express in healthy ways and get it out of you, right? So that you can rise above it. But you have to go through it to rise above it. You have to witness it. You have to recognize it. You have to acknowledge it. You have to take accountability for it, like what you were hinging, where and why, what it meant to you, and so again, it just depends on where you are, where that could take 10 minutes, or it could take 10 years, or it could take 10 lifetimes, right? So the sooner you're honest with yourself, and the sooner you allow yourself, the sooner you can get to where you want to go. And so some of us have to learn the hard way because we're not learning or understanding or incorporating or integrating. And so it does require us going through seemingly hard times when it's not. It's like, the best way I can explain it, only because this is how it's also been for me and how they've taught me. It's like, you recognize you have stuff to heal. You work on healing it. You heal it. You release it. You do great. You're going the right direction. You start ramping up. You start flying high. You start really going. Things are phenomenal. And then it is like you get snatched out of the sky. And you're like, what the fuck? And it could be for many reasons. You could have been flying high and then started to get cocky or arrogant or come from the wrong place. And it's like the universe still knows you because it's your nervous system. It's your everything going on inside. And knows that that's not your truest heart's desire. It's like, yes, you want all this, but you want it from truth and clarity, or from honesty, or from purity, or from, well, I don't know how to verbalize. They're showing somebody flying high, but then going cockeyed. It's kind of like, I'm not exactly sure what they mean here, but I think I'm just trying to relate it to me, which it seems like it may be not as relatable to me as I thought it could be. And so I'm trying, but it's like you're flying high. You cleared out, it's like you cleared out the past. You're flying high. But it's like you cleared out the past. Like you made, it's like resolution with the past, or you put it to bed or something like that. But it's something more. It's like, maybe from your side, but now you have to pay karmic debt. I don't love this language because it can be misleading to people who don't understand, but it is kind of like it has to balance out. And so then I guess it's like, so what would that imply? That implies you're harboring some guilt or some shame, right? So it's like there's some residual guilt or shame or it's like it boils down to the fact that it's like it was too good, too fast, or too easy, and so you had unworthiness, some lie that was still tangled up. And so whatever it is, it just feels like lower energy of like guilt, shame, unworthiness, or too good to be true, or something like this. But it also does show cockeyed. So I think that is the case too. It's like sometimes we get in a way to skirt that. That's why they're going off to the side. It's like the birds were flying high and in unison, but then they kind of like steered off and went around. So it's like what they're trying to get around or go around. It's like trying to ignore that they still have to rid that guilt and that shame and that blame. And so instead they try to like skirt it and do what is it that they're like, so then they lie to themselves again, and they give it, because then it's still swimming in those lower energies. So then it comes from the ego, and it's denying what's in their face. And so they're then behaving out of their ego. So it's like they feel, okay, that's what it is. They feel the guilt and the shame and the blame, but they deny the guilt, the shame, and the blame, and are like, no, I totally deserve this. That's that lip service. It's the lip service of, oh, no, I deserve this. I'm spectacular. I'm whatever. All while harboring guilt and shame and blame. So then you are going to go cockeyed. You're not in alignment. You're not operating from your heart, your truth, your clarity. So you have to get rid of that residual and tell yourself the truth and recognize why you're still harboring that, and take a real look at it and witness it and see it for what it is. And again, release it, integrate it, however you do you. And then come back into alignment once more. But even in doing so, it's like you've learned so much along the way, which is always the case. It really is a school down here, I believe, in that sense. And every time we think we've gotten it, don't worry. There's always a new layer, a new level, more to learn, more to grow. And it's like, we can look at that as good and bad, right? Sometimes it can feel like a burden, and I don't believe growth should feel like a burden. It should be exciting and fun. Yet, again, I think that really, really, truly depends on where we're in our journey. In other words, if you're really at the bottom of the barrel and you really have a tremendous amount of growth to do, but you know it's for the best of you, it really is going to seem difficult, challenging, and like a burden. And then there's times where you've gotten so far up to where you need to be and you're flying high, or you're flying where you need to be. The reason being is, I don't think you should be too high or too low. I think both can bite you. But when you're with that stream, right, with that flow, the correct flow, then I believe it can be really exciting to have that new exciting challenge for growth. That, yes, it's a challenge, that's the point. But it shouldn't be like a burden or difficult or torture, right? And so, again, that's just a fine line, because there are times where it's like, if there's an ego or an identity that you're hanging so close to or clinging to, then that growth of truly being honest and taking accountability and seeing what you're doing to drop that identity, to move forward, to recognize that identity is harming you and keeping you stuck and stagnant, but you are married to it, you love it, you're clinging to it, that can seem extremely difficult and like a burden, but you also know you have to do it. So it's just the fight within inside of you. And something's got to give. And hopefully your heart is stronger. Like, hopefully you love you too much to cling to whatever that is. Okay, but the whole point of this one, I think, it was what they were showing, where there was a lot of people that they showed them as first as like really what we would call good, wholesome, pure people, right? But then bad things happened, which it does. And again, listen since the beginning of the podcast, we all know that there's reasons for all that. But nonetheless, they get so hyper fixated on that and so insistent on fairness and balance and justice from the universe, and they're screaming and shouting it, but whatever they're screaming and shouting for and whatever they're focused on is what they're getting back. So really what they're screaming and shouting is, I didn't deserve this, I hate this, I don't like this isn't fair, I'm living in a nightmare, I'm living in lack, I want. And so the universe is like, okay, they're living in lack. They feel they don't like living in fairness. They like living in unfairness, because that's what they're focused on, is the unfairness, the injustice, the whatever. And so they keep getting more. And then they're getting angrier and steeped deeper and deeper in it. And this is such an unfair world. This is such a bad world. And then they see more of it and more of it and more evidence and more evidence. And it's like they're getting deeper and darker into the well, swearing it's not fair, but they're getting exactly what they're focused on. Exactly where they're vibrating is what they're getting more of. And it's like, they got to get out of their own way. But don't get me wrong, it's also, we've talked about this, it's like sometimes you do go so deep down that the universe will smack you up high. But again, in my opinion, that is the absolute worst way to go about it. But some people haven't learned that yet. I mean, there was a time in my life where I didn't understand that either, and would get so deep that it would really hurt, but it's almost like scream louder than and the universe will hear you. But that is the worst way to do it. It is the worst way to do it. And again, if it's true and pure, if your heart is that pure, that naive, that innocent, and it can't see, it is like the universe will swoop in, but it doesn't do it easily or quickly, because it really wants you to love you and understand and learn. And so sometimes there are, quote, it's like miracles will happen, but that doesn't mean you need to rely on them or count on them or utilize that method. That's the worst possible method and does not guarantee that it will work. As a matter of fact, you see all the time how that will not work. Right? It's like the 1 in 1 billionth time it does, when the universe is like, oh, for fuck's sake. But it's like, what don't you understand? You are getting back what you're putting out. So if you're omitting a lower energy, an unjust world, it's unfair, you're a victim, it's horrible. If you keep in that well, that is the well you will remain in forevermore. I am not saying it's easy, just get the fuck up, shut the fuck up, and move along. I'm not saying that. I understand. I've been in those wells. I'm just telling you the plain truth of the matter, that you have to go within and love yourself and figure out what that means. Take accountability of where you believed you were in lack, and so you were looking outside yourself to get, and that was the trap. Because that's the area you need to work on so that you can heal and love yourself and get up out of that and never look back at that well again. Because you took the time to really truly learn those lessons. And you took the time to truly learn how to love yourself and get in alignment with yourself. And that takes time for some of us, a tremendous amount of time, because we could have been programmed the other way for so long. Meaning bloodline after bloodline after bloodline. That's just the way it was done, because nobody turned around and was like, enough. I'm going to love myself. And it's going to be hard because everybody around me believes in a different mentality than I do. Everybody around me will say, I'm bad, I'm wrong. So it's going to be hard. It's the idea of the scapegoat. It's the idea of the chosen one. It's the idea of whatever. It's like, you can call it whatever the fuck you want to call it. I'm just giving you the awareness that no, it's not always easy. As a matter of fact, it's usually the hardest when you are waking up to something and no longer swallowing it. You're no longer turning a blind eye. You're no longer accepting it. You're actually going to live your life for you, not for everybody else. And it's going to be a challenge for a lot of people around you. So then it's going to feel like a lot of hate and a lot of negativity or evil eye, or however you want to say it, is being thrown at you. And you got to bust through all that. And it's like there's just so many lessons to learn. But if you can learn that basic one, do unto others as you want done unto you, so you wouldn't be saying this is unfair, this is unjust. You would just be worried about you and trust that all will be right in the world, but you don't need to know about the justice being served to who, when, where, why, or what. You need to worry about what you're focused on and where you're not loving yourself and honoring yourself, and how you can shore up those spots, and how you can better yourself and better love yourself and better honor yourself and treat it like a vessel for the divine, so that the divine can flow through you. Unconditional love can flow through you. You can feel amazing, and you can focus on what makes you feel amazing more and more. And so, yes, it is like everybody living in their own bubble, because then when you focus on the things you love more and more, you're going to bump into people who are also in those same bubbles, and it's going to feel like an entirely different universe. And it takes time. But it also takes time because you need to learn that, yes, there are people in this world who are going to appear to be in a similar bubble and that will bump into your world, and they're not. And yes, it can feel like a test, but it's not. It's how much do you love yourself and are going to honor yourself? And is there a mirror that you need to see? Are you bumping into them because the universe wants you to see you're still holding on to this residual this or this residual that? And you need to take a look and recognize you are loved, and you are getting whatever you're focusing on. You are getting whatever you're focused on. You're that loved. And so you can see that as good or bad, cruel or loving. But the truth is, it's very loving. It's like whatever you want, you get. But you don't know what you want because you think your words matter. And they do with other humans, for sure. Because then you can be making, it's almost like implied contracts that you're not aware you're making, and you'll have to break those ties and lies. But the universe hears your real heart, your real intention, and that's what you're getting back. And it's to help you and to love you and to show you either proof that things are spectacular or proof that you're not loving yourself enough. We want you to love yourself more. But you're saying this is what you want, so here's what you get, until you vibrate higher, till you do the work to clean that up. So you say you want this, the universe is like, all right, I'll give you whatever you want. And you'll scream and holler, that's not what I wanted. Well, then why'd you take it? And why'd you look outside yourself to get it? Why were you not vibrating? You see what I'm saying? You have to take that accountability, and it's challenging for a lot of us. But the sooner you do, and truly do. In other words, again, I don't care if you do or don't. I don't care if you say you do. You don't have to convince me or any other human. It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. Convincing another human, the universe isn't going to be like, oh, okay, all right, you were able to convince Sally Sue. Oh, okay, all right, I believe you now. It's not. It's an energy. That's all it is. You're just a ball of energy. That's it. That's it. That's it. It's no good, bad, right, wrong. That's not how the universe works. It doesn't look at it like that. That's a human conditioning. The universe loves you so much that will give you whatever energy you're emitting, and you get to choose what energy you're emitting by how much you're loving and honoring yourself. So you either choose to love and honor yourself and do that work and vibrate higher to get all the things that you desire, that you say you desire, or you keep having a wrong, faulty mental state and wrong, faulty focus and claim that you're focusing on rainbows, but meanwhile you're focused on trash, and you keep getting trash, and you're like, but I'm looking at the rainbow, I'm focusing on the rainbow, but all you're thinking about is the trash. All you're thinking about is the bad. All you're thinking about is blah, blah, blah. So it's like, you can say all you want, you can convince whoever you want, but unless you're vibrating at that energy, you're not vibrating at that energy. It's like the universe isn't open for debate or for court or for judgment or for arguments. It could give a fuck. That's not how that works. It's just not how it works. So you get to choose for sure. This is an absolute dream down here. You get to choose. And it can become more challenging the more people that are around you with very convincing sales pitches. So you just need to strengthen your resolve. What is it you really want? And how much are you really going after it? And how much are you really focusing on it? And how much effort are you putting towards it? How much airtime are you giving your dreams so that you can be living your dreams? And so I think it does take work, because they're also showing, it does take a while sometimes. I don't know if they're showing it's like to chip away or to balance the scales, where sometimes it's like we do feel like we get steeped in nightmares. And so it's like we don't dare to dream again, because you get so steeped in those nightmares that it's like you're scared to dream again, because you're scared that you'll trip on the same traps. That's what they were showing earlier. It's like, yeah, because that's kind of how it felt for me for a while. It was like I was a dreamer and was able to stay focused on the positive despite the negative around me, and then was living that fantasy, that dream, and then got bumped offline and felt like I flipped upside down and steeped in a nightmare. And then it's hard to shake that, because then you do question anything and everything. Like, oh, well then, what was I thinking? Or where were my intentions? Or how did I get here? Or, oh, there are so many tricks and traps, and oh, they weren't honest. I thought everybody was honest. It's like it's that being naive, right? And not understanding the way of the world, and then being opened up to the way of the world, and it being a scary nightmare, so that you're like, oh, I'm not interested then. And it's like, okay, well, we got to get you back in balance, because you can't be naive, and you also can't be, it's like you can't go out there oblivious, but you also can't not go out there, because then you're not living either, right? It's like it is finding that balance for all of us. And again, depending on where you're at is going to determine how long it takes you. Because I believe some people, it's like they slow walked into everything. So it seems like they can flip on a dime on so much, because they were, it was like they were always balanced, right? So they were learning along the way, and they could take everything in bite-sized chunks. Where others, it's like they can be in a nightmare, so they live in fantasy world and ignore and turn a blind eye and deny, and then wake up to those hard truths. And so what is that you're showing me? It's like trauma. Yeah, it's like those who were maybe in trauma were in freeze or flight and the denial and all these things. And so, it's just different for all of us. But if you can learn the rules of the game and reconnect with your higher self and work with unconditional love directly and seek out whatever help you need from the outside, but hopefully from the right help, hopefully from something you're guided towards that feels good and feels right and feels true and good for you, to help you enjoy life again and dream again and really choose your focus. And be gentle with yourself. Yeah, they keep making a point about this. Yeah. I feel like they're jumping all over the place this morning, but it is like this idea of, I don't know if they're just showing me a really extreme case or what this is, but it's like, it is, you have to be gentle with yourself, because it takes a while to shake off that residual horror. But you have to keep that as your focus, that you're focusing on the good and you're moving through it and past it, while learning and taking accountability and choosing differently. So it does seem like the harder path. It does seem like, I think that's what they were also showing originally. It seems almost weird, like, why are all these good people having to do all, it almost seems like harder work, right, than what we would deem or call evil people who seem to just get away with murder. And it's like, one could argue, well, it's because they don't have ethics or they don't have care. And it's like, you don't have to worry about all that or argue all that or compare or compete, but you do have to understand how the universe works. And you're deeming X as nice and Y as awful. And the universe does not have your moral compass. The universe is not human and doesn't abide by your rules. It just abides by your vibration, where your true intentions lie. And so the universe will deal with however the universe chooses to deal with others. What your business is how you can feel good and whole and right and pure and true within you, and how you can focus your tool, your mind, in the direction you want it to go. And don't get tripped by getting pulled off path, comparing, competing, deciding what is and isn't right, what is and isn't fair, what is and isn't just. Because again, then we're choosing to get off our path, and we're choosing to not love our life. Then we're choosing that lower energy. So I don't know how to say it clearer what they're showing, but it is that idea where so many people are like, how come all the good people? Because you're deeming it good. If we can learn these rules of the universe and stay in our own lane, meaning just keep our nose in our own book, we can enjoy our book so much more, instead of looking back and be like, oh yeah, I remember when all I could do was focus about the injustice or play victim or blah, 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 blah. And we all have to go through that. That's part of the learning process. But the quicker you can truly learn and understand and integrate that, the quicker you can get to the life of your dreams. Thanks so much for tuning in and listening. You can now purchase an audio journey with me using the link below.